So all of y'all have asked for it. Welcome to the complete beginner's guide for snapshots within the HX Stomp and HX Stomp XL. I'm going to walk you through how to create and set up your first 4 snapshots, how to edit them once you have them set up, how to make multiple changes per each snapshot, how to rename them, how to change the color of the buttons on the pedal when you're in that mode so you can easily identify which one is which, how to program the pedal so you can know which button goes to which snapshot, and how to adjust things like on output like channel volume and snapshot volume. Oh, and I'm going to show you how to do that both within HX Edit, which is the editing software, and on the pedal itself. That way you can still edit and create snapshots if you don't have access to your computer or HX Edit, or you don't believe in the internet because Big Brother is always watching. And just for clarification, I'm not going to give you any tone examples or playing examples. We're only talking about how to create and edit the snapshot functionality within the Helix HX Stomp ecosystem. With that said, I'm going to first show you how to do everything on the pedal itself. But if you're looking for the HX Edit, go to this timestamp here and let's get into it. All right, so here we are with the HX Stomp XL. You can see we are in Snapshot Tutorial. And there's currently nothing here. We have main, in and out. So what we're going to be doing is first setting up our first 4 snapshots on the pedal. And if you're curious about renaming and coloring, you can't do that within the pedal. You have to do that on the HX Edit. So I'll put a timestamp right up there again. If you want to go check that out. I have gotten some feedback from you guys that you want me to go a little bit slower, so I'm going to not edit any of this out at all. I'm going to go as slow as possible. Hopefully, I do a better job at articulating and slowing down the pace of this video so we can learn everything about the snapshot mode as humanly possible. If I do go too fast, let me know in the comment section below, but you know, go back and watch any part that might be confusing or going too fast. But I am going to be trying to be conscious of that for this video. So first thing is we need to build out a basic preset. So I think we're going to have a drive, a delay, and reverb and modulation. So first things first, I like to go in the middle and let's grab an amp. So go ahead and click this top button. I'm sorry, click the bottom button. I don't use the pedal that often. I usually just use HX Edit. Let's go ahead and hit guitar. Let's go Voltage Queen because that sounds like fun. When we go over here, we're going to hit cabinet. Let's do single. Cali extension. I'm really not going for a good tone, I guess you could say. I don't know what kind of tone we're going to be sounding like. We're just basically going for learning purposes here. So last one, always want to have the reverb at the end. At least I do. Sure. And then delay, simple delay, sure. Modulation, mono, tremolo. On the HX Edit, you can put a secondary line here. So you can have 2 cabs running, and hopefully editing Ryan will at least put that screen somewhere, maybe over there or up there, somewhere where you can see the full screen while I'm doing this. You can kind of see it side by side. But yeah, that will be something that you can look at in the HX Edit portion of this video. So now we have something set up. You want to always save. Anytime you make any changes that you like, you always want to save. And how you save is hitting the home/view button and action. As you can see right here, it says save. You've pressed both those two buttons. Hit save preset and you go yes, save preset. And while I'm here, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about how to rename your preset. If you want to rename your preset, just kind of go over here, select it what you want. So let's say I want this to be, wrong. Don't do that. Don't do that. That changes where the preset is saved. So if you want to learn a preset, save your preset as a different number, twist this bottom number. As you can see, 28 A, B, C. That is something that I just learned just now. So how about that? But what you want to do is if you want to rename it here on the pedal, just go ahead and twist this middle knob here. As you can see, I put Z snap. So whatever. Go ahead and hit save. So now we have our pedal and we're ready to get started. First thing we want to do is choose what mode we are in. As you see here, snapshot mode, which is great because you go A, snapshot 1, B, C, cool, snap 1, snap 2, snap 3. That's awesome if you were into that, but that's not what we're going to do here. We want to make sure that we're in stop box mode so you can see the 3x2 grid layout there. We want to make these snapshots. So the way to do that is going to hit the hamburger button, which is this little guy here, page left and page right at the same time. You're going to go to Command Center, so push that button in. And you can see here you have the lightning lanes, to external foot switches, and then all these foot switches right here. So you can see I'm currently on foot switch number 6, which is this guy right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if I had an extension cable, extension pedal, I'm sorry, with like a foot switch on it or whatever, it'd be 7, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right now we're only really dealing with these 6. So foot switch number 6, you can see right here. The way I like to do snapshots is leave these 2 for banking up and down presets, or something like a lead boost, whatever. I like to go snap 1, snap 2, snap 3, snap 4. So let me do that again because I use different fingers. Snap 1, snap 2, snap 3, snap 4. So let's go ahead and get that started up. So while you're here on this screen here, hopefully you can see that over there, you want to go to, let's say, foot switch number 2. Using this top button, you can see I'm toggling over. Instant. Foot switch number 2, which is this guy right here. You're going to take this leftmost knob and you're going to switch it over to the right till you get to snapshot. Now, an easy way to remember how far you have to go, literally just crank it all the way over till you get to looper and then back 1 and it's snapshot. Now this second little dial here goes between press release and press and hold for the type of behavior. So press and release is when you press it, it goes on. You press it again, it goes off, like a traditional pedal. Press and hold means it will only go to that snapshot if you hold it down. We don't want that. So you want to leave that on as press and release. Maybe you do want that if you want like a little solo button and you're like playing little leads in between rhythm and you're just like, all right, lead, let go, lead, let go. That's when you would want to use the press and hold. But for 99% of the time, you're going to do press and release as the behavior. So just don't touch that. What happens on the press is controlled by this. It is currently set to next, which just means the next snapshot. So if you're on snapshot 2, the next one will be snapshot 3. What we want to do is set this, you can do previous snap 1. That's where I like it. So this button is snapshot 1. Let's go over to the next one. Do the same thing. Scroll all the way over. You can do that again for the camera because I got my finger in the way. Scroll all the way over and back 1 to snapshot. Press and release. And then snapshot 2. So we have 1, we have 2. Let's make this one number 3. So now we have to go down over to snapshot 4. We're going to skip that. Switch number 5. And really, I'm going to pause right here. If you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, totally up to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want, whatever makes sense for you. Like 1, 2, 3, like intro, verse, chorus, solo. I don't know. Up to you. I just think it makes sense for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're at switch number 5. We're going to make it snapshot. And we're going to go snapshot number 3. Go back over, spot foot switch number 6. And just to show you the different toggles, bank, note. I don't even know what note is, hotkeys, preset, snapshot, snapshot. This is going to be snapshot number 4. While we're here in setup land, I am going to make this one bank preset. So you can see bank PC, bank preset, MIDI channel bass, 1, 2, blue. Actually, I'm not really sure what bank PC means. Maybe somebody smarter than me in the comments can let you guys know, but preset is what we're actually going to. Preset, previous. So I want this one to be preset, the previous preset, and I want this one to be the next one. So then let's go over here. Preset next. So we have preset up, snapshot 1, snapshot 2, preset down, snapshot 3, snapshot 4. Let's go ahead and hit save, home, action at the same time. Well, bam. Do you want to save the preset? Yes, I do. So as you can see, snapshot. Oh, shoot. We don't have that one set up. But you can see I have the preset up, preset down, snapshot 1, snapshot 2, snapshot 3, snapshot 4. As you can tell here, we are in snapshot number 4 by that one being highlighted, that ring being on, and then here as well saying snapshot 4. Now this is a very important next step of the video. Unfortunately, you have to set this up for every snapshot. And it's super annoying if you want everything to be exactly the same. I haven't figured out yet how to do a copy and paste when it comes to snapshots. So if I go ahead and hit snapshot 1, all of that's going to go away and we have to redo it all over again. Same with snapshot 2, same with snapshot 3, same with snapshot 4. I haven't figured out how to copy and paste it yet. Hopefully, in the future, I'll have a video right there that will say exactly how to do that. But as of recording, as of July 11th, 2024, that's just simply just not the case. So let's go ahead and go into snapshot 1. And you can see it snapshot up, up, up. So already some things already programmed there. Luckily, the preset is already good to go, right? But we have to change these 4 buttons. So these 2 we don't have to worry about, but these 4 we have to. As you can tell, we're in snapshot 1. The ring is on. Anyway, so let's go ahead, go over to page left, page right again, command center. Go over to our foot switches, foot switch number 2. We want that to be snapshot number 1. And it's press and release. So we know if we're in 1, that just goes back to 1. So let's go over to 2, our foot switch number 3, and make that snap number 2. Leave that, go over to number 5, make that snapshot number 3, and then number 4, snapshot number 4. And again, I'm going to repeat this all the time because I've made changes and then it never got saved. So anytime you make save changes, home, action, save button. Yes, I would like to save. So now you can go 1. You can see we're in snapshot 1. You hit 4, snapshot 4. Everything is looking pretty good right now. Now if we get a snapshot number 2, oh, snapshot number 3, it looked like it picked up on it. The fact that actually you made 1 and 4 the same. 2 and 3 probably is going to be the same too. So the system was smart enough to figure that out. And I don't know if that's always been the case, but a welcome nonetheless. And you go preset up, and obviously I'm in a different one. So well, there you go. So now that is set up. The switches are set up. Again, it's a lot easier if you do it on the HX edit, but sometimes you don't have access to it. So you got to do what you have to do. So that is how you set up your first 4 snapshots. Now let's talk about, now that we have them all set up, let's talk about how we want everything to play out. So in snapshot 1, as you can see, we're in snapshot 1. We want this to be just a simple, clean snapshot. Only your amp, your distortion, and your reverb. So what you want to do from here is hit the view button with the home button. And now you have your complete layout, as you can tell. So let's go ahead and unclick everything that we don't want. So scroll using the top wheel and click it in to disengage. So compulsive drive, disengaged. Amp will leave on. Cabinet will leave on. Tremolo, disengage. Simple delay, disengaged. Reverb, we can leave it on. Again, home, action, save. Hit view again, and you're in snapshot 1. So snapshot 1, you only have the amp, the cabinet, and the reverb. So let's go ahead and hit snapshot 2. And you can see everything's disengaged. So how about we go over here and engage the compulsive drive. So snapshot 1, compulsive drive is off. Snapshot 2, compulsive drive is on. So we've now edited our first 2, and this is interesting. Look, if you hover over it, it doesn't work with these caps on. But that is interesting. If you're in normal mode, in the view mode, and you just hover over it, like I'm not even touching. Whoa. Interesting. So I gotta make a future video about these being very touch sensitive without even having to fully press them down. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so snapshot 1, nothing's on except for the amp and the reverb. Snapshot 2, we have the drive on. Now let's go to snapshot 3. As you can see, the drive is on. Let's make snapshot 3 the solo. So let's go ahead and hit the simple delay. Again, home in action. What do? We save. So snapshot 1, nothing's on. Snapshot 2, distortion's on. Snapshot 3, distortion and delay is on. And then snapshot 4, look, everything's turned on. Let's turn off the delay and just make it a simple tremolo. Let's turn off the drive too, because we like country music. Again, home, action, save. So we have tremolo, we have your lead patch, you have your rhythm crunchy patch, and you have your clean patch. But you're probably saying, like, I can't tell what patch I'm on. I'm trying to see if you can see in the lights. Luckily, these are lit up, so you can see that we're on 1, if you know that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Kind of hard to see right now. So if you want, go ahead and hit home, view. Now you're like, all right, now I'm on 1, now on 2, now on 3, now on 4. And you can see it via these rings lit up, little camera up there, and then you can see that that's lit up as well. All right, so next let's talk about how you can edit them once they're set up and how to add multiple changes into one snapshot. So let's go to snapshot 1. And it's essentially the same thing that we just showed you. So if you want to snapshot 1, go over to the device that you want to change and just tap it in and hit save. So if I want everything on in snapshot 1, go ahead, turn everything on by using the top knob, clicking it in to engage it or disengage it, whatever you want to do, and hit home and action at the same time. Click save, and now you're good to go. So now we're in snapshot 2. So you can see only the drive is on. You go back to snapshot 1, and you can see everything is on. So that is an easy way to make edits and on the fly and make multiple effects turn on with a single click of a button, which I think is the true benefit of snapshot mode. So say you're playing a clean, rhythm sound, kind of like a Chattahoochee, just like do 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 do. You're like, all right, now it's time for the solo. Traditionally, if you're in like traditional stomp box mode, you're like, all right, I need distortion, I need reverb, I need slapback delay. No, no, no. In snapshot mode, you press that button right there, and you got everything on, and you're ready to play some Brent Mason guitar solos right there. That is the true beauty of the snapshot mode. Will say something real quick though, especially when it comes to editing. If you want snapshot 1 to have compulsive drive and say snapshot 2 to have a screaming 808 tube screamer, you unfortunately cannot do that, because the second I changed the screaming 808 tube screamer, I didn't change it on any other place except for snapshot 3. Snapshot 1, you now have a screaming 808 tube screamer. That is the unfortunate thing about snapshots, is snapshots aren't exactly like the way Fractal does it, where you can have an A, B, C, D, depending on whatever scene's their version of snapshots. So keep that in mind when you're designing your snapshots. If you want multiple different drives or multiple like reverbs, multiple delays, you have to build that into your signal chain. So if you want 2 drives, you got to have 2 drives like that. We'll say though, once you have 2 drives there, now you can go and be like, all right, I want both on for 2, for 3, I only want, I don't know why I did that. For 3, I want the first one on, and then for 4, I want the second one on. Scratch that reverse. But now that way, scene 1 has none of them on. Scene 2 has both of them on. Scene 3, snapshot mode 3, has the second one on. Snapshot mode 4 is on. So you can't change the drives or the effects within different snapshot modes, unfortunately. But you can disengage and re-engage different effects that are within your allotted signal chain. So keep that in mind. So say you want to rename your snapshots. This is how you do it. From this screen, and if you don't know how to get to this screen, make sure you're in Stomp Box mode. I forgot that is a very key important point of this. Mode, you just click mode. As you can tell here, I'm in preset mode with snap up and snap down. If you want to change snap up and snap down, just hold both this one and this one, both 3 and 1 and 4. Now you can see I'm in bank up and down. Hold 3 and 4, 1 and 4. These 2, 1 and 4. Now I'm in preset mode. As you can see, preset, preset. But if you're in this one, we want to go ahead and hit mode so we can get back into stomp mode. So if you want to rename the snapshots, you're going to go ahead and hit this top button, click it in, click action, and then rename snapshots. And I just messed that up. Action, click it in, action, rename snapshots. Snapshot 4. I want this to be tremolo. So T, go over, trem. I'm just going to do trem. Keep it short and sweet. This is tedious, but if you're on the fly, you're in the middle of a gig and you need to do this, this is how you do it. Though I imagine if you're in the middle of the gig, you're not really worrying about renaming your snapshots in the middle of a show. If you are, I mean, more power to you. And now we look, trem. Snapshot 4, trem. So how we do that again? You don't have to do that. I was just more or less seeing if it, if it stayed there. Click the top button, hit action, rename snapshot by clicking that button in. And before you do that, you got to change the snapshot. So snapshot 3, action, rename. Snapshot 3, we want this to say lead. And sorry guys, I'm learning on the fly as well, but I figured we're going to learn together. I'm going to show you how to do it. Lead. And again, this is so much easier to do it on the computer because you just can literally right click and type it out. But, you know, I wanted to show you how to do it on the fly if you ever needed to. Hopefully in an ideal world, you would never need to do all 4 at the same time and renaming, but here we are. So again, top button, action, go back, top button, change the snapshot, action. One of these days I'll get this right. We want this to be rhythm, right? H. Always got rhythm. Make it out to 0. 0 blank. Same thing. Top button, snapshot change, action, reorder, rename. Let's name it clean. Like Mr. Clean. Obviously, you know, you can make these fun, right? You can name it Mr. Clean. That'd be kind of fun. I'm not going to because that just takes more of your time, more of my time. And let's be real here. Who has any time, really? So look at that and make sure we save. Oh boy. Make sure we save, especially after that. So clean, rhythm, lead, trem. We now have, whoa, didn't mean to do that. We now have customized, personalized snapshots so you know exactly what Snapshot does on each preset. It's tedious, but it makes a world of difference, especially when you're playing live and you're trying to figure out, oh, I'm about to have a solo. Which one do I press again? Oh yeah, it's lead. I think that's just beautiful. Oh, don't do that. What I'm really trying to find is how to switch these colors. And normally, let me just show you for normally the way you change these colors is you go hamburger mode, left and right, command center, and you hit page right, you hit customize. But you can't do that. And it's kind of annoying me. So I really want to be able to customize that. Have to only do that on the computer when it comes to colors. That's okay. It is what it is. Wish it was different, but hey, here we are making at least snapshots have different names. So you've learned how to set up your first 4 snapshots, learn how to edit them once they are set up, how to add multiple changes into one snapshot, realizing that you have to use the pedals that are within the single chain. And if you change a pedal, it changes across all 4. You can't have a separate effect within the same effect type from different snapshots. Unfortunately, that's just not how this works. But we learned how to rename them. Can't change the colors on this. Again, here's the timestamp if you're really looking forward to changing these colors. I personally do. I like this to be like green, this to be yellow, this to be red, as like clean, medium gain, overdrive, and then like blue for tremolo or something like that. But we also learned how to assign each of these foot switches. So hopefully this was very helpful for you. Let's go into the computer and show you how to do all this over again much quicker using the HX Edit, as well as being able to type out on a keyboard the different names and also how to change the colors. One thing before I go, how you assign these switches, how we made this one snapshot 1, snapshot 2, snapshot 3, snapshot 4, you have to do that within the pedal. You have to do it by hamburger, page left, page right mode, and then selecting it like that. If you want it to be a basic, like this to be an overdrive pedal, this to be a delay, you can do that in HX Edit. But if you want these to assign these ones to snapshots, you have to do it this way. So I will see you in the computer, and we'll talk more about the HX Stomp XL within the HX Edit. All right, so here we are in HX Edit. We have a completely clean timeline, as you can see, from main LR to main LR, from input to output. It's completely blank. So let's get started. I'm going to make things fairly simple. I'm just going to grab the first things I see. Who watt, which is a high watt based off of the Who. Anyways, you didn't ask for that. It's cabinet. Let's go with a 2x12 interstate. And right now we're just creating cabinets. Oops, that is the cabinet there. So cabinet there. Let's go put it back. Oh, shoot. Okay. So here we are in the HX Edit. Let's go through how to create snapshots. As you can tell from the input left and right and the output left and right, we are completely blank. So let's start crafting. First thing I want to do is grab an amp. Let's go with a Who watt. That's always fun. Let's add a cabinet, 2x12 interstate. And what I want to do is put a secondary cabinet just to show you. Let's say the Mandarin 2x12. And I'm going to put it on different lines like this to show you that snapshots, you can change things like cabinets. So let's turn one off right now. So amp, cab, you need some reverb, glitz. Look, I'm not saying this is exactly what you need to do. Shoot. But, you know, it just shows you an example. So let's go grab some distortion. Let's grab a simple EQ. Let's grab some modulation, univibe, and let's grab a delay, simple delay. And that is our preset. So we have distortion, EQ, amplifier, 2 different cabinets, a modulation, delay, and reverb. So as you can see, here is snapshot 1. So let's go ahead and craft our tone. So let's say snapshot 1, I just want the amplifier and some reverb. Something clean, something basic. So we have the reverb on, delay is turned off, and you can tell it's turned off because it's grayed out. Both the icon and the fader, so modulation, univibes turned off. The orange cabinet's turned off. The Dr. Z cabinet is on. The amp is on. EQ is off. Distortion is off. So that is snapshot number 1. So what we're going to do is come up here where it says new preset, go over snapshot, click on it, and click on snapshot 2. Now let's make snapshot 2 maybe a distorted channel. So let's turn off the EQ. Let's turn off the delay and turn off the modulation, and say I want to use the Mandarin orange cabinet instead of the interstate cabinet. So turn off the interstate cabinet, turn on the Mandarin cabinet, and then that is our snapshot 2. Make sure you constantly go up to file, save preset. Let's give it a name. Let's say snapshot tutorial. If I can spell tutorial. Can't have the L. Anyways, Command S. Whoa. Tutorial. Command S. I'm sorry. To save. Anyways, so you have snapshot 1, which is nothing on it except for reverb. Then you have snapshot 2, which has a little distortion, right? So let's say snapshot 3, let's make that a solo boost. So I'm going to have EQ on, amp on. I'm going to have both cabinets on, and I'm going to have the delay on. So we have the distortion, EQ, amp, cabinet 1, cabinet 2, delay, and reverb, all within snapshot 2. Go ahead and save. I might be over saving, but I get a little paranoid here. And then let's say snapshot 4. Let's make it a univibe channel. So let's turn off EQ. Let's turn off the orange cabinet. Let's turn off the delay and have the distortion off as well. So amp, cabinet, modulation, and verb. And that's going to be snapshot 4. So as you can see, bouncing through each snapshot, we already have the snapshot set up. That's it. You're ready to go for the horses. So as you can tell, we have the 4 snapshots ready to go. So if you're ready to go play live, go for it. You're done. But say you have these already set up, or say you bought like a preset and they had snapshots. You're like, I want to edit it. Literally, the only thing you have to do is come up here, go to snapshot 2, turn something on, turn something off, save it, and you're done. It's that simple. You just have to make sure that you save before you move to another snapshot or you move to another preset. Anytime you make any changes, just save it. Command S, file, save, and you're good to go. That's how you save the presets within HX Edit. Next, let's talk about how to add multiple changes to a snapshot. So say you went in snapshot 3 and say, you know what, I'm going to like all right, so say all right, so say you want to make some multiple changes within a snapshot. Go to your snapshot and say snapshot 1. Let's add EQ and the modulation. Control S. That's all you have to do. You don't have to make any other changes. Just make your changes within the snapshot and hit save, and your changes will be made. An important thing to note, though, you cannot change the different types of effects within the timeline. So say you have a tone sovereign, which is a heir apparent, double heir apparent, or a king of tone pedal, and say I want my snapshot 3 to have a clone. That doesn't work, unfortunately. So if you want snapshot 1, you have the tone sovereign, you say snapshot 3. Let's say I want a clone. So go ahead and save it. Go back to snapshot 1. Everything is now going to change to reflect that distortion is now a clone. Unfortunately, the HX Stomp does not have the ability to have AV pedals like something like the Fractal does. So you have to keep that in mind. These are snapshots of the existing pedals that are on your timeline. You can't have like an A pedal and a B pedal within different snapshots. So keep that in mind when you're designing your layout and designing your presets. A way I think to get around this is if you have an open blank or an open box, say you want to use that, let's say make that your clone, and then you can make it AB that way. But food for thought. Let's go ahead and go back to EQ. You can't change your pedal within different snapshots. They have to be the same pedal essentially. On that note, you can't make adjustments either to the pedal. So say, going back to the King of Tone, say I want snapshot 1 to have crazy distortion. Let's put everything on 10, right? For sake of example here. And then let's say snapshot 2, we want everything to be kind of like tamed down a little bit. All right, that sounds good. Now, if you go back to snapshot 1, it's going to look exactly the same. You might say, you didn't go back to it. Look, snapshot 1, snapshot 2. Boop. Save, snapshot 1. Unfortunately, you can't make those adjustments either, so keep that in mind as well. You can only turn on and turn off effects using the snapshot mode. Next, let's talk about renaming your snapshots, because snapshot 1, 2, 3, and 4 is great, but say you have 100 different presets for your 4 different set lists, and you need to figure out which one does what. So let's go to snapshot 1. You want to basically right-click, hit rename, and say clean. Save. Let's go to snapshot 2. Right-click, rename, overdrive. Save. Oops. Rename. Save. Snapshot 3. Rename. Solo. Save. And snapshot 4. Rename. Univibe. I can't type. Save. So now every time you go to different snapshots, you're like, oh, that's my clean snapshot. That's my overdrive. That's my solo. And that's my univibe. And if you set up the pedal in a way where the snapshots are the 4 buttons, the 2, 3, 5, and 6 buttons, it will say solo, clean, overdrive, univibe on the screen. So you know exactly which pedal is which. Now, the pedals come pre-stocked with snapshots as gray. It's not really helpful either. So let's go back and color and add some color to this. So clean, right click, and you probably already saw this already, but right click, let's say clean white, because white is a pure, clean. Anyway, overdrive, let's say it's a little light orange. And let's go to solo. Let's say solo's red because it's green and nasty. And then let's go to univibe. Because blue, because modulation. And if you can tell from the pedals, you have white, orange, red, and blue. So you know all the colors are all set up and ready to go. Now, if you're looking to set up your pedals, the snapshots on the pedal within HX Edit, unfortunately, you cannot do that. You can see the bypass switches here are only good for the actual effects. if you wanted to add your snapshots like I just did and I just showed you, you have to go do that on the pedal itself. So revert to the pedal section earlier in the video. So unfortunately, there's no way to change volume levels. Only way to really do it is if you have a clean boost, and you can use a clean boost as, you know, kinky boost or whatever. And that's really the only way you can control the volume and output levels within snapshot modes. You can do it during presets, but just not for snapshots. So it is what it is, but that's the limitations of the HX Stomp and HX Stomp XL. So that's everything you need to know about snapshots within the Helix HX Stomp ecosystem. Check out one of the 2 videos on the screen. This one goes over more HX Stomp tutorials. This one is what YouTube thinks is something that you'll most enjoy. So hopefully I'll see you in a future video. And until then, let the music play.